Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new Lead with Soft Skills podcast. I'm your host and coach, JP Warren. If you're enjoying these, please feel free to share, comment, subscribe, like, spread the word about this stuff. This might not only help others out there, but it can also help you and also just helps get the word out there. I like doing these, and it helps motivate me whenever I do get some feedback about the show and how people are absorbing it or what they like about it and honestly what they don't like about it. But anyway, any support helps. So I want to thank you all for tuning in today. And again, these podcasts are there for everyone out there to gain some sort of guidance, or whether it's career trajectory, personal development, leadership skills, and stuff like that. So today we're going to be talking about something that I think something that is pertains to a lot of people out there. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if sales is in your title. We are all in sales. Whether you're an engineer trying to influence your team to go in a different direction, whether you're someone trying to get approval from your boss about continuing on a certain project, or whether you're someone that's actually trying to get in the door as a salesperson to sell an item of service. And I think during this day and age, in 2024, 2025, a lot of people they get hired into roles. And when it comes to the development, when it comes to the training, it just isn't there. And so a lot of people kind of get let out into the wilderness to hunt, often without skills and tools and other devices to use. And I think this is one of those things where a lot of times when people are put in these sales roles, or maybe you do want to convince your manager that you want to take on this project, or you should be investing in this project, it's not just about stating the obvious or really providing a sales pitch or being pushy or anything like that. If anything, it's showing the true value of what you're talking about. And that's what and I'm going to be going over a couple different sales methodologies or tactics. I think each one of them, first off, it pertains to you as an individual. What feels comfortable for you? What can you try out? What tool can you take out of your toolbox to try out during your next encounter, your next conversation? And I think this day and age, people are not meeting with people as much. So this is a real good model to use whenever you actually do want to go in and differentiate yourself from, I guess, the crowds and crowds and crowds of different salespeople, or from other people on part of your organization that are competing for the same budget. This is actually how you can differentiate yourself, stand out, and provide value, not a pitch, which I think is so crucial. Because at the end of the day, right now, and I see this in a lot of different industries, the consumer, or the target audience, I'll just say the consumer, has much more decision-making power. All right, they have easier access to information via online, via their networks. They have much more buying power, and there's a lot of competition out there. So this is a great way to not just get in the door, but also showcase your value that you want to help them out. And the model that we're going to be covering today, or the methodology we're covering today, is called, let me go over here. It's called the SPIN model. Okay, some of y'all might have heard of this. Again, this is going to be a crash course in this. Hopefully you can take some stuff and use this maybe during your next conversation, the next time you're trying to talk to someone. But before we kind of dive into what all these what spin means and anything like that, let's talk about when to actually use this approach, this tactic, and when we're talking to our target audience, our customer. Okay, and again, this is one of those things where I think a lot of salespeople walk in the room kind of with the same hat, same tricks. It's the same sales push. It's the same style of conversation. This is a great way to really separate yourself from the crowds, where you can actually kind of stand in to provide value versus a pitch. Okay, so when do you use the spin method? Okay, number one, use it during very complex sales. Okay, complex, high value sales. So whenever the sales process is very complex, a lot of different moving pieces, a lot of different moving parts, maybe you don't have a lot of information about why decisions are being made. So it's used during a complex sales approach, when it's not a simple yes or no. It's a long-term value add. And again, whenever you do want to walk in that room and have more of a consulting approach to your sales method. Again, standing out and not being pitchy, being more of a consultant, can provide you, I guess, that differentiation from the crowd. All right. And also, when you want to provide value, okay, value gets thrown out a lot, I think, in this day and age. But I think the more people actually pause and pull back and identify their value, and can actually put verbiage around the value, what their actual value is. And if you say low cost or best service, get rid of that, okay? Everyone says that. What makes you more valuable? And here's something that I often ask a lot of different teams that I coach and that I work with, that I train with, is if you can't say why you would change to using your product versus someone else's, if you can't really give a reason behind that, and if you were the customer and you really didn't have a reason behind that, then you're probably selling something you shouldn't, okay? So if you have a clear answer on why you would switch to utilizing your service over someone else's, that's a great way to start. That's a great way to kind of prep yourself to actually understand what you are selling and why it is valuable, okay? So now let's dive into kind of what each of these different letters mean, okay? So spin is each letter means something and part of the process, okay? So when you're going in there to your target audience or something like that, you're really framing the conversation to be a consultant. Think of yourself as a consultant, not a salesperson, okay? So the first thing that we need to do as a consultant is what? We got to gather information. We got to understand what is their situation. All right, situation. These are situational questions, okay? What's going on? And these are open-ended questions. We're just trying to gather information about what's happening, okay? How do you normally approach this situation? Does a whole team work on this project? So these are just kind of the situation. You're trying to get to a foundation of what your target audience faces, okay? The next thing is P, all right? This is where you're trying to find the problem. Okay, you're trying to find the pain points. You're trying to find what challenges your target audience or your consumer faces with their situation. Okay, and when it comes to problem, it's there's a lot of different problems. Is it a time constraint? Is it a budgetary constraint? Is it a lot of moving pieces? Is it a logistical nightmare? What is the problem that they are facing? Okay, or what are some of the problems that they're facing? Okay, so once you understand the situation and the problem, then we're going to kind of get into the implication of the problem. Okay, so this is to determine. Okay, this goes back to right here. Okay, this is you're kind of guiding them and leading them along this path. Okay, so you understand the situation, you understand the problem. Here's when you kind of start peppering some things in to kind of have them come up with their own conclusions. Okay, so what is the implication of? So should this problem continue? What is the implications of that? I mean, how is that going to affect your team? How is that going to affect your year-end performance? If this problem continues, what is the result of this as you, as a leader, as a manager? How is that going to affect you and your ability to be a manager, to be a leader? Okay. So after the implication, this is when you're kind of guiding them to come up with the answer for themselves. Okay. This is the need. Okay. They need, this is where they realize that they need you. They need your service. They need that project that you want to work on with your team versus a different project another team wants to work on. All right. So once you kind of like lost frame it. All right. So once you kind of lost frame it, understand the implication of what the potential fallout is if they don't take a course of action, and you have them create that need. Okay. Well, if I don't do this, then this could potentially happen. That's why I need your service. So again, this is more of a consulting model, all right, that you're going to go in. So again, this is just a different way. Again, a lot of people go in and they try to have these transactional conversations. They try to pitch a lot of things. They try to convince their target audience that they need something, they want to buy something. That is the least effective way to actually get someone to make a movement when it comes to purchasing a product, or whether it's going a different direction with your team. Okay. So when you're understanding the spin model, which is number one, you got to understand the situation. Okay. What are you currently facing? Okay. And again, whenever you are stuck in this situation, one note is this: whenever you are on these lines of questions, again, these are open-ended questions. How does your day look like? What is the current situation going on? Don't focus on the situation too much. Don't focus on the problems too much, because that can open up a lot of different rabbit holes. Okay. If you keep it simple, keep it basic, and you understand a little bit of what they're talking about, that allows you to kind of go down that hole and have them create the understanding that they need you to help them fix their problem, to help stop the implication of a potential downfall because of a problem that they do realize and they do understand. Okay. So let's talk about a couple of things right here, on how to actually go about using the spin method before you actually walk into the room, okay? The first thing you need to do is prepare, okay? Understand who you're talking to, okay? Understand the market. Understand maybe there's some common challenges that your customer faces. Maybe there's some common challenges that your manager faces, okay? So what are some challenges that you can actually prepare for and kind of go through to provide answers for, or maybe to actually even shape the conversation, the direction you want it to go, okay? The second thing is be curious, okay? Again, you're not pitching anything here. You're trying to learn something about something. You're the consultant here, all right? You know what's going to be good here. You know that your solution is going to be better for the team, better for the company, better for your customer, okay? So be curious. Ask these questions. Active listening. We talk about active listening all the time here on Lead with Soft Skills. This is a great opportunity for you to practice your active listening skills. Be curious about what they're facing. Be curious about the problems that they're going through, okay? The third thing is build trust, okay? And how is that done? That is done by not selling. Even though you're in there to sell, even though you're in there to convince, or you're there to do something, build trust by being curious, by caring, by having empathy, showing that you care about the problem that they're facing, showing that you care about the implication that, hey, if this isn't resolved, this might look bad on you. This might be bad for your company. This could be bad on your budgets. So whatever that is, showing empathy and building trust and showing that you actually care about your customer, that goes a long way, all right? And the fourth thing to do is collaborate. You are there to collaborate. You are there to provide value. You are there to showcase hand in hand that you being there, or your decision, whether it's a project you want to take on or whether it's a service you're trying to sell, you're showing case that you are a business partner to help them get out of a hole or to avoid a potential hole. So again, this is just one method when it comes to sales. And usually sales this day and age, again, it's one of those things I always tell people, nobody likes being sold to. Even when you walk into a car dealership, you know you're there to buy a car. You know you're there to you know what you want. You're there for one reason only. You don't want to be sold to. Whenever a car salesman comes up to you, it kind of, you build your walls, you shut down. This is a way to kind of pull back from that and not sell, to actually be there more for a consulting than a salesperson. Again, another way that to be different than the whole rest of the crowd or the rest of the people asking for the same thing is position yourself differently. Don't position, hey, listen, even if you go in there and you are in front of your target audience, there might be something where after asking the situation, the problem, that might not be something that aligns with what you're trying to sell or what you're trying to push. So if that's the case, again, build trust by saying, hey, thanks a lot for your time. However, I think with the current thing you have going on right now, this doesn't make the most sense for you. So again, you're not there to sell to everyone, okay? You're there to sell to people that problem that you can solve, the value that you can add to this person, whether it's saving them time so they can work on something else, whether it's keep them under budget, whether it's making their project more efficient. So again, the SPIN method, understand the situation, ask open-ended questions to get to understand the problem that they're actually currently facing, and honestly bring and pull more out of that. So what are the implications if this problem continues? What are the implications? What is the downfall should this continue? Oh, okay. Then have them understand, pull that need out of them. Okay, so if this problem continues, don't you think that it might make more sense to have a safeguard for that, which is exactly what we're here to provide. So have them pull that need. Again, engage, connect, and I think a lot of sales this day and age, it's not about just selling or pitching. It's about connections and communication. So if you can master the SPIN method, again, try it out for not just in a high stakes meeting, but start working and practice on this with your group of friends, with your circle of trust, and start small, okay? The smaller you start, the more comfortable you're going to feel, the more confident you're going to feel, the bigger bets you're going to put on yourself. So I hope everyone enjoyed this. Again, if you like this, please share this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the box below, and we look forward to seeing you on the next Lead with Soft Skills.